So in this video I want to cover 5 beginner gym mistakes to avoid, because if you're doing 1, 2, 3 or hopefully not 5 of these, then all the work that you're doing is pretty much going to waste. So if you know what to avoid, then you can avoid the pitfalls and actually start to see progress within the gym. And now even people who have been lifting for a couple of years, me included, can sometimes fall into some of these traps. So I'm going to go over each one of them so you can understand why it's important to avoid and how to do it properly. So the first thing I want to talk about is phasing. So you need to complete one phase of training before you move on to the next. And what I mean by that is if you've got a program set in place, then at least complete it for a month, 4 to 6 weeks, do the program and then move on to the next one. Because every time you're in a phase of training, you're getting used to new exercises, you're getting stronger, you're building upon a certain skill set, a certain movement. And you want to absolutely milk that and, rinse the towel dry before you move on to the next one. A lot of times what I find is people will start a routine, maybe get into it for like a week or two, then they'll completely switch up into a completely different one. And even me to this day, it still takes years to even get good at some of these difficult compound lifts. But getting good at those and doing them properly with good form, good technique, executing them properly is how you can actually grow and build muscle. So with each phase, I'd honestly recommend 4 to 6 weeks. So stick with one routine for 4 to 6 weeks, see how strong you can get on it, and then start to make changes after that. Point number 2 is actually making adjustments too soon. Perfect example of this is if you're in a weight loss phase, for example, and you've seen it's Tuesday and the weight's gone up a little bit. That doesn't mean all of a sudden, that's it, I need to drop my calories, right? I spelled calories wrong, but okay, that's it. Tuesday, the weight's gone up, so that means I need to change my program, I need to add cardio, I need to do this and that. No. You're making adjustments way too soon. You want to make adjustments once you've got a good amount of data to take an assessment from. So, if for example it's a full week, and let's say the weight's coming down slowly, then on Tuesday it goes up. If you would have just carried on with the program, you'd have realised by the time it gets to Sunday, the general trend is the weight's going down. Because there's always going to be fluctuations, with how much water you hold. There might have been a little bit of extra movement one day compared to another one. So it doesn't warrant you making a change in the program, right? If you want to make an adjustment, I always recommend at least 1 week or 2 weeks worth of data before you even think about making a change in a plan. So if one of my clients' weights went up, for example, on Wednesday, I wouldn't immediately say, that's it, you need to drop the weight. You need to drop your calories on the Thursday. I'd finish the week and then we'd see. Yes, and then if by the end of the week we're seeing that the progress isn't being made, then I would make an adjustment. But don't just make adjustments based off of a couple of days of data. That's mistake number 2. Mistake number 3 is intensity. And what I mean by intensity is your training intensity. I found a lot of people, especially when they start the gym, they're afraid to train close to failure and afraid to push themselves because they don't want to get injured and things like that, which is understandable. But it's going to be very difficult for you to grow if you don't actually push your body to a point where it needs to adapt and needs to grow. So one of the things that come alongside of intensity is don't be afraid to use machines. Machines are a really, really good tool, and I even use them today because it allows you to go to failure with safety. Especially if you're on your own, you can re-rack the weight, and also it helps you understand how to target and how to focus on each individual muscle group because it's got fixed resistance patterns. So definitely make use of machines, and if they're the times that you can go to absolute failure, then do it, right? If you're on your own and you've only got fully free weight exercises and you don't feel safe going to failure, then I would substitute some of them and actually use machines instead and really push on those machines to go to failure. And then you can do it with safety, and then you've also got your the free weight movements for your stabilization as well. So definitely don't be afraid to go to failure and ramp up that intensity as you get more and more experience as well. Point number 4 is progress. Now this is a super basic one, but I see this mistake all the time. You gotta be tracking some sort of progress. Honestly, like it's the most basic thing that you can think of. If anyone had told you that anything is of importance, whether it's finances, whether it's business, whether it's work, career, family, they'll be tracking some sort of progress when it comes to that. So it's the exact same when it comes to the gym. If you're in a weight loss phase, you should be tracking, for example, your daily weight, making sure that it's at least dropping by 0.25 to 0.5 kg a week, right? If you're in a muscle gaining phase or a strength phase, you should be tracking your weights every week that you go to the gym, right? Is my reps going up? Is my weights going up? Am I seeing progressive overload? Or taking pictures of your physique, am I seeing enhancements in my body composition, right? Whatever it is that your goal is, you should be having something that you're tracking in order to see if I'm actually going on track. This is a super basic thing, but if you don't do it, you've got no North Star to aim towards, right? Loads of studies have found that if you're in a weight loss phase just tracking your daily weight without implementing any plan or any structure. Just tracking your daily weight itself will help you lose weight, because now you're becoming more aware of what it is that you're actually doing. So definitely think to yourself, what types of progress can I be tracking to make sure I can see if I'm actually going on track. Point number 5, now this is a killer. Overeating / undereating. There is honestly a 90% chance if you're not seeing progress in the gym is because you're either overeating when you're actually meant to be in a deficit, or you're undereating when you're meant to be in a muscle gain and strength gaining phase. Now, the reason this is because of, it's your ego really, because you feel like you're beneath needing to track or beneath needing to have a plan in place, because you don't feel like because you just automatically have the bias that you're on track when you're not. So many times, even me included, I realise that when I'm in a muscle gaining phase, I'll be like, shit, I'm actually heavily under eating. Like, I'm not actually eating the calories that I'm supposed to be eating. And vice versa, when I'm with the clients and I'm helping them in a weight loss phase, we realise, oh shit, once we track for a week or two, that they're actually overeating by 100, 200 calories every single day. And if you times that by 7, that's 700, 1,000 calories plus per week. And that's the reason why you're not losing weight. So you want to make sure that whatever your goal is, you're actually absolutely certain that you're not overeating and you're not undereating. Now, there's 2 real ways that you can fix this problem, right? One is you can have a meal plan, and this is my personal recommendation, and the other one is you can track, right? One's not better than the other, it's just personal preference, right? With the meal plan, the benefit is it's got absolutely no decision fatigue, right? You already know what you're going to eat, and you already know that what you're eating is preset to get you the results that you want. So you can just follow it. I just prefer that with the business that I've got, with the lifestyle that I've got. It just makes it easier for me. And the other option is tracking. Now, the benefit of tracking is that you've got loads more flexibility, right? You can eat whatever you want. As long as it fits the calories, as long as it fits the macros, it's fine. But the downside is that you have to be tracking and you have to be checking, right, am I getting your phone out and doing the scanning and stuff, which sometimes people can find a little bit tedious. But sometimes if you think of it like a game, it's more enjoyable. So it is doable. It's doable either way. But I definitely 100% recommend, if you're just starting the gym, even first 2, 3, 4 years, or you've not achieved an aesthetic physique, definitely add a meal plan or track to make sure you're not overeating or undereating. And look, if you are a professional and you're serious about building your best physique and you want, step-by-step guaranteed process to do it, there's a link you can click on the top of the description to have a free consultation with me to see if we're a good fit to work together. But yeah, that's it from me. Goodbye.